The G, the R, the E, the A, the S, the Y, he's greasy, word up. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spellbound, A Darker Shade of Black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller. Hip-hop mogul P. Diddy has settled a civil lawsuit that his ex-girlfriend Cassie filed in federal court one day ago, alleging that he abused her, had her participate in sex trafficking, and was allegedly a victim of sexual violence allegedly perpetrated by P. Diddy.
We have breaking news now involving Sean Diddy Combs and his ex-girlfriend, the singer Cassie. Representatives on both camps and Cassie, whose real name is Cassandra Ventura, are saying tonight that the two have settled a lawsuit she filed against the mogul yesterday in Manhattan federal court. Ventura accused him of rape and years of physical and emotional abuse. There are no further details yet tonight about the terms of the settlement.
On Thursday, R&B singer Cassie, whose real name is Cassandra Ventura, filed a federal civil lawsuit claiming that rap mogul P. Diddy allegedly abused her over the course of their professional and personal relationship that started in 2005 and ended in 2018. And in that 35-page civil lawsuit, Cassandra Ventura alleges that P. Diddy participated in creating an abusive relationship that started as far back when she was 19 years old and signed with Bad Boy Records. And as she signed with Bad Boy Records, she alleges that P. Diddy abused her by physically assaulting her, having her take drugs and alcohol, and also had her participate in sexual acts with male prostitutes, and had her participating in alleged sex trafficking, and also had one extremely violent incident where she alleges P. Diddy broke into one of the homes that he provided for her and then proceeded to sexually violate her against her will. Now, one day after Cassie, also known as Cassandra Ventura, filed this federal civil lawsuit against P. Diddy, he made an about-face from his original position where he said that this entire lawsuit was ridiculous, and has said that Cassie basically was looking to blackmail him in order to get him to pay her $30 million in order to prevent her from writing a tell-all book. Well, it looks like what was going to be told on P. Diddy was something that could have possibly been quite damaging to his personal and professional reputation, because P. Diddy did a major about-face hours later, and by 11 o'clock his whole position had changed because he settled his lawsuit with Cassie for an undisclosed 8-figure sum. Now, on both sides, I'm looking at this case and seeing some things that are quite suspect, and when I look at Cassie's whole motivation for filing this lawsuit in federal civil court, it has a lot of red flags to me, because if P. Diddy was participating in this alleged criminal action that she alleges, I would think she would want to go out here and file a case in criminal court in order to ensure that a predator like P. Diddy, like she alleges, would not remain on the streets. Now, Cassie filed a federal civil lawsuit against P. Diddy and not a criminal one, and she basically filed a federal civil case as related to the Adult Survivors Act here in New York, hoping to be able to put a case in before the law expires on the week of Thanksgiving. And that's where I find Cassie's filing of this civil lawsuit and making these allegations of P. Diddy to be quite suspect. I find these allegations to be quite suspect because she basically is filing this case in a civil court where the case is going to be judged on the preponderance of the evidence in a he say, she say situation, and not in a criminal court where the case is judged by the standard of a reasonable doubt, and you have to actually bring evidence against an accuser. And with her bringing in this case in a federal civil court, I just feel it's quite suspect because these adult survivor laws are all about going out here and trying a case in the court of a public opinion and not allowing a man to have his due process under the law. Because if a man is alleged to have committed a crime against an individual, then that man should have his day in court where he can be tried as a jury of his peers as related to any allegations of abuse, or in the case of what Cassie or Cassandra Ventura is alleging, sex crimes and sex trafficking. These allegations need to be tried in a criminal court where a man can get due process under the law. And that's the one issue I have with Cassie filing this lawsuit, is that she did not file this case in a court of law and have P. Diddy prosecuted for these crimes, because if these allegations are true, then this man needs to be tried in a criminal court, and this case needs to be brought before a criminal court judge. Now, my big problem, again, with these adult survivor laws is that they seem to be designed to circumvent our U.S. Constitution, because our U.S. Constitution is one that says that a man or a woman is supposed to receive a day in court and be tried by a jury of their peers. But it seems like what she's trying to do is circumvent that by going out here and again trying the case in the court of public opinion instead of trying the case in a criminal court. That's where I have my beef with Cassie, whose allegations have some ring of truth based on what reports were made as related to P. Diddy's business dealings, and his business dealings as related to Cassie really are ones that I found to be quite questionable, because they basically violate the business code that men have as related to being in the workplace. And the major mistake that I believe that P. Diddy made as related to this entire case was violating the rule I put in my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace, which is don't crap where you eat. Now, P. Diddy, also known then as Diddy, basically signed Cassandra Ventura, also known as Cassie, at 19 years old, and as he signed Cassie to Bad Boy Records in 2005, he basically violated one of the rules of the workplace, and that is don't crap where you eat. And as he violated the boundaries by getting involved with Cassie, he basically put himself in a situation in his workplace where he opened the door for himself to be sued, possibly for sexual harassment in the future. However, as he continued to have his relationship with Cassie, what happened to P. Diddy is he wound up in a relationship with Cassie where he started participating in behaviors that fit the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. Now, based on what Cassie alleges as related to P. Diddy's behavior, it really fits what I described in the chapters, the sexual deviancy of the beta male and the sexual frustration of the beta male. And when I look at the timeline of Cassie's allegations from 2005 to 2018 and these current allegations of P. Diddy participating in sex acts with men, the pattern of behavior that he had with Cassie after his relationship with Kim Porter and the children that he had shows me a man who was on the road to becoming a man in crisis due to his inability to control his sexuality. Now, one of the problems that beta males have with sex is that many of these men are not secure in their natural masculinity, and they're not secure in their natural sexuality. And because they're not secure in their natural masculinity and their natural sexuality, what these men do is go to a place where they feel safe to participate in their natural masculinity and their natural sexuality that I call in the man crisis the secret world. Now, in the secret world, this is the place where many of these men feel secure about their natural masculinity and expressing their natural masculinity and their natural sexuality. And in the secret world is where these men start participating in the sex acts that they feel more comfortable with. And this is where Cassie's allegations might possibly have some ring of truth as related to Diddy's pattern of behavior, because as she alleges, when she first met Diddy at 19 years old, he made a inappropriate advance by trying to forcibly kiss her at 19 years old, and that basically starts to show me a pattern of behavior where he never saw Cassie as a person. No, he saw her as an object that he wanted to have a relationship with, not in the real world, but in the secret world. Now, with beta males, they live in two worlds, and they have a public image which they want to keep clean, and have a smooth world where they have no problems, conflicts, or obstacles, and everything looks good on the outside. But in the secret world, this is where this man starts to participate in showing his need for power as related to sex, because these men are insecure about their natural masculinity and natural sexuality, so they feel that everything related to sex is correlated with power, and that possibly showed with Diddy as he signed Cassie. He didn't want Cassie to be his woman as related to a healthy relationship. He wanted her to be an object that he could subjugate and control and have power over, and he felt like he could have the most power over her through sex and the sexuality. And that possibly started with the kiss, and with Cassie being 19 years old, she possibly thought, oh, here's a 37-year-old man paying attention to me. Here's a 37-year-old man who she thought was looking to lead and guide her, but he wasn't looking to lead and guide Cassie. No, he was looking to dominate and control Cassie, not in the way that a man would in a relationship that's healthy. No, he's looking to control and abuse this woman because he wanted to have power over her, and the way he wanted to get power over her was to break her down mentally by taking control over her body with his body and the bodies of other men that he used as weapons. Because with beta males, it's all, when it comes to sex, again, sex is not an act of love that brings a man and a woman together. No, sex is an act that a beta male uses to break a woman down, and uses that act to be able to gain control over that woman, because he doesn't see that woman as a real person with thoughts, feelings, and emotions. No, he sees her in his rose-colored reality as an object to be a part of his fantasies, and that's basically what Diddy basically saw Cassie or Cassandra Ventura as, and this is why he started going out here and looking to, again, forcibly kiss her, then have her in the relationship where he was where he was looking to maintain power by buying her things and controlling her, and then look to further escalate his control by coercing her to take drugs and alcohol, making it look like it was all part of the music scene, but it wasn't a part of the music scene. It was all part of his plan to gain more power and control over her so that he would possibly be able to get her to participate in the deviant sexual acts that he wanted to participate with her. Now, as Diddy was escalating his need for power and control based on Cassie's alleged reports, he possibly was taking her down the road to sexual deviancy. And as he took her down the road to sexual deviancy, he no longer got gratification from getting pleasure from seeing her go through pain he inflicted on her. And that's where he possibly escalated things to these male prostitutes. And the male prostitutes were not brought in for Diddy's alleged voyeurism, which he claims they were brought in to be used as tools to further humiliate Cassie and further take away her power, because what Diddy was showing by having these male prostitutes participate in these deviant acts was that he had so much power over this woman's body that he could go out here and get other men to enter her body, and he would sit there and allegedly watch this woman having sex with these other men, and he got gratification not from having sex with this woman, but from seeing this woman humiliated by having sex with these other men. And that just shows how twisted and deviant P. Diddy was, as Cassie alleges. And this is the type of behavior that beta males participate in, because beta males want to be able to, again, have power over that woman's body to the point where they say that they can control whoever can go into that woman's body. So that's where I start to see a possible ring of truth to Cassie's allegations as related to these claims. And these claims are all showing me a pattern of behavior with Diddy as related to him further heading down the road to sexual deviancy, a road of sexual deviancy where he was looking to gain power by breaking down this woman's body and mind over the course of this relationship. And over the course of this relationship, it looked like he was possibly abusing this woman, and things reached a head around 2018. But before then, there was another incident that showed Diddy's power, where he allegedly blew up the vehicle of rapper Kid Cudi, who Cassie was looking to be involved with. And again, this was another incident to show how much power that P. Diddy had. And all of these incidents were all about him looking to show how much power he had. And this is what basically, I believe, scared Cassie into thinking that she had no agency or no power to go to law enforcement, because she falsely believed that P. Diddy was someone who had such clout in the entertainment industry that she wouldn't be believed. And this is where things escalated after the explosion of Kid Cudi's car, and your P. Diddy, feeling that he had power as related to keeping people away from her, then was still feeling insecure, because with these beta males, they have a real strong sense of insecurity, and this is why they escalate their behavior into abuse. They escalate their behavior into abuse because they feel like they can't control a woman, and since they can't control a woman, what they want to do is try to break that woman down, and they want to break that woman down so that they can make her submit to their twisted ideas in the secret world and have her be a possession that they have in the secret world. But Cassie continued to try to fight back from P. Diddy, and what happened was this culminated in the sexual violation of Cassie in 2018. And this incident basically was where I believe is P. Diddy was probably frustrated because he couldn't get that control that he wanted. And because he couldn't get that control that he wanted, this is where he wanted to participate in the ultimate act of allegedly breaking a woman, because the sexual violation of a woman, again, is never about sex. It's always about power. And it looks like to me, from what Cassie was alleging in her lawsuit, the entire relationship that she had with P. Diddy was one where he was looking to try to get the power he couldn't possibly have with Kim Porter in a relationship that he had with her as related to her and the children that he had with her. And he wanted to have that power with Cassie. Unfortunately, that quest for power basically was one that showed that P. Diddy was a man in crisis and a man who was completely out of control. Because with beta males, they oftentimes look to try to control women, but show how out of control they actually are. And that's where I was seeing things with Cassie's lawsuit that showed some possible ring of truth. And these allegations that Cassie were making were so devastating to P. Diddy's reputation that this is one of the reasons why he possibly had to change his mind and start to settle this lawsuit, because these allegations were basically having that ring of truth. Moreover, you had other individuals who previously worked with P. Diddy, and these people were coming out and saying how they were done dirty, from Kid Cudi, who could substantiate the vehicle being blown up, to other entertainers who used to sign with Bad Boy Records. These individuals could confirm how P. Diddy was a bad boy to them, and if these individuals were to come into a federal court and be able to reinforce the testimony, this would do devastating damage to P. Diddy's already what's looking like to be tarnished reputation. Now, this whole incident, the way it was presented, basically was one that was making it look like P. Diddy was on the road to becoming a brute of the month, similar to what was done to R. Kelly and Bill Cosby. However, the evidence here was so strong that it was basically making it look even worse than that for P. Diddy, because it was making him look like the Harvey Weinstein of hip-hop, and there was a lot of evidence to corroborate it. And because the evidence was such bombshell evidence, this is why P. Diddy possibly had to settle, because the media oligarchs that are over him, that basically signed his paycheck, did not want more information coming out about the deviant sexual acts that he participated in, because once people put together a timeline as related to his relationship with Kim Porter, to his relationship with Cassie, to the alleged relationships he has had with men, they start to see a pattern as related to him being a man in crisis, as related to being a alleged sexual deviant, and see a pattern as related to sexual deviancy that shows a man who was on a quest for power. And that's what I've seen as related to my years of doing research on beta males, from my historical men in crisis videos and my other man crisis videos involving sexual predators and serial killers. And when I look at P. Diddy's pattern of behavior, it's falling right in line with that same pattern of behavior I have seen as related to multiple convicted sex offenders, such as serial killers and sexual predators, because this abuse that he had Cassie participate in, it basically is the kind of behavior that is similar to those kinds of sexual predators and their quest for power as related to sex. That's what makes this entire case one that P. Diddy wants to settle, and they want to settle it quickly because they don't want any more skeleton bones dug up out of his graveyard as related to his sexual exploits, because those sordid sexual details, if they start to come out, what will happen is people will start digging up dirt and start revealing other entertainers who possibly could be participating in these kinds of deviant sexual acts. And that's the last thing that the entertainment industry wants, is for these skeleton bones to be dug up, because if these skeleton bones are dug up and revealed, it could basically be something that could explode all over the world and expose a lot of things, because this whole case, you have Cassie making allegations of sex trafficking, and those allegations could lead to a federal investigation, not only of P. Diddy Combs, but of many entertainers out there and many of their agents, managers, and executives. So, in order to keep those bones from coming up, what Diddy is doing is being told by his paymasters to settle with Cassie. He's being told to settle with Cassie because they don't want those skeleton bones in that graveyard to come up as related to his sexual exploits, possibly with men and women, allegedly. Again, I'm not saying actual because I do not have any confirmed or substantiated reports. These are allegations that have been rumored for years in media, and I say rumored because these are rumors, and they don't want these skeleton bones to come up, because if they come up, it could be a major scandal for most of these entertainment companies, and these entertainment companies don't want their brands tarnished by this sex scandal, which could blow the doors off everything. So, in order to keep everything secret and avoid a huge scandal, what they're doing is making P. Diddy settle this case, which for 8 figures is a little bit of money for these media moguls who don't want the skeletons to come out. And for them, this is small change compared to the billions of dollars they make. When they looked at the situation, the people who control P. Diddy went out here and told him, you will settle for $30 million since you're a billionaire, and you will settle this case, and we don't want these skeleton bones coming out, so you're going to settle this case. And that's why this case was settled so quickly, because I don't think Diddy would have done this on his own. No, I believe what happened to Diddy is there were a couple of phone calls made by some big-time white media moguls to his lawyer, and I believe directly to him, and they told him to settle because the New York Times was announced a settlement, and I was sitting there with Mr. Chris from Mr. Chris and Company as we were doing our live stream. I was checking my email, and I noticed that that entire case had been settled by 11 o'clock Friday night. Now, it had been announced by the New York Times on 11 o'clock on Thursday night, or even 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock Thursday night, but by 11 p.m. Friday night, this case was quickly settled, and it wasn't settled because P. Diddy was looking to go to court. No, it was settled because these executives and these people who run entertainment let Diddy know that they don't want this business in the street, and they shut this business down, and they gave Cassie this money to keep her from telling all about his sexual exploits, because possibly his sexual exploits involved some people they don't want being talked about, and the things that were coming out, again, are major skeletons that people want buried who are higher up than P. Diddy. Now, this entire situation may be settled in the courts, but I don't know if what was going to happen to Cassie. That's where Cassie basically put herself in a bad place, because this isn't just Diddy that she's dealing with now. She's dealing with big-time big wheels in Hollywood, and I fear for Cassie's life. So Cassandra Ventura has to watch herself out here, because it's, when it comes to this entertainment business, it's not one that black people come out clean. Now, Cassandra Ventura, after her whole traumatic relationship with P. Diddy, went out here and married a white man in 2019, and has 2 kids with a white man. And I have to wonder if she got involved with this white man due to the trauma she had with this black man in crisis. And I have to wonder if this trauma was so devastating that it led to her getting involved with a white man, or was she hypergamously monkey branching to another man? And I have to wonder, as related to this entire case, what's going on here, because when I look at this whole situation, I see not only I see a ring of truth to Cassie's allegations, but I don't see the motive as being pure, because I looked at this motive and it's all about trying to get money out of this Survivors Act law that has questionable constitutionality. Again, the constitutionality of this law is questionable because it doesn't allow a man to have due process in court. But I also look at Diddy and his situation, and it shows me this is why you don't crap where you eat or get involved with women at your job. And if you have, and the whole thing is, this will mess you up on the job, because Diddy's biggest mistake was getting involved with people he worked with at the job. 1, 2, being out here participating in deviant sexual behavior, if what is alleged by Cassie is true. And this entire case shows me, sadly, what happens when a man in crisis is in big business. A man in crisis in big business, he may go on for a long time, but his insecurities and inadequacies about himself will be the thing to undermine him. And that's what happened here with P. Diddy. He got undermined by his quest for power, and if it wasn't for powerful people protecting him, he possibly would be dealing with a lawsuit that could have done him in if these allegations as related to his behavior don't do in his professional reputation. Now, if you want to learn how to avoid getting into situations like P. Diddy did as related to Cassie, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Stop Simping in the Workplace at other online booksellers like Smashware's The iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. And if you want to learn how to avoid getting involved in situations like this, or learn about the dysfunctional behavior of beta males, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Smashware's The iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers from the author of Spinsterella, A Strange and Unusual Romance, and Spellbound, A Darker Shade of Black comes legendary magic, and you get the conclusions of the Spinsterella trilogy in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella. Discover the dark side of love in this goth and lovely romance with Spinsterella. Get Spinsterella in paperback and e-readers at your favorite online bookseller today.
Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.